gardens do you have your green thumbs in?
We have somehow our stamp on approximately 35 gardens in the community. Those are the ones that we know of, that we have either both helped create, literally dug in the ground, helped find resources for, organized people, talked to them, got them together and taught them how to garden. We give technical assistance. We loan tools. We grow seedlings in the greenhouse for community gardens. So about 35. There are certainly probably more that we don't know of. Some of them, maybe 5, existed when we got started, and we just worked with them to find out what they've done well to keep going, and then worked with them to network themselves together and with other people that wanted a community garden so that our collective resources can go farther. We have helped start both neighborhood gardens with privately owned land from a resident, with publicly owned land through the City of Battle Creek or the Calhoun County Land Bank. We have started and helped form and church-based, faith-based gardens, institutional gardens. So when I say institutional garden, what I mean is larger organizations that want to do something for their membership, like the Y Center or Kellogg Community College, inside city parks. This city park eventually will be an edible disc golf course. This is Irving Park Disc Golf Course, downtown Battle Creek, and it's a 27-hole disc golf course installed by the Battle Creek Metropolitan Area Mustache Society, and in partnership with them we planted 25 cherry, peach, pear, plum trees.
So this is our beet box. And you want to see the inside?
Yeah. So where are we taking this stuff?
We are going to Lakeview Meadows, we're going to Bedford Manor, and then we're going to Arbor Point, which they're all different apartment complexes. A few of them are for lower income, some are for retired seniors. Yeah, it's a really good chance.
How do they find out about the program?
We try to send out flyers beforehand, but a few of them we've been going for a while now, so they just sort of know. We show up and they see us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's it like living in Battle Creek? I mean, in terms of people's interest in doing things locally. Is there a lot of excitement about that, or is it just getting started?
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I mean, you come into Battle Creek and you don't think, gosh, this place is awesome. You know, you'll see a lot of poverty in Battle Creek, but I think that's just sort of the cover of a book kind of deal. You know, you're judging the cover of the book, but in reality, there's a lot going on inside of Battle Creek, and I think it inspires a pride. And I think when we start developing from the inside, it starts making Battle Creek look better. And then hopefully, eventually, our book cover will look beautiful and inviting.
How big of a role does Kellogg play in the area?
Yeah.
And have they been helpful towards some of the local efforts or local projects?
Oh yeah, they've been really helpful. They fund a lot of what happens in Battle Creek. They have a lot of grants, and I think of course they do sell processed food, so it's a bit hard sometimes to appreciate them, but I think they do a lot in Battle Creek for the because they see that this town is where they started, and it makes sense for them to take care of their town.
Sometimes the big corporations or the big companies, they look at what the little guys are doing and see that people appreciate that, and it's almost like they slowly start to adopt some of those practices and ideas.
Right. That's what we're hoping. That's definitely what we're hoping.
Is it rewarding work?
I think it is. Yeah. I'm naturally I'm not a social person. So it's forced me in a way to meet people, to understand people, to see what's going on in Battle Creek, whereas if I was, working a desk job, I don't think I would have actually gotten out there and seen what's actually going on, the cool events that are going on. Like I just went to a Jonah forum, and that's definitely not something I would have gone to if I hadn't been part of this job. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's bringing you closer? Do you feel more connected to your community?
I do. I don't think I've ever felt connected like this to a community. I'm meeting so many people, so many leaders too, who genuinely care for the people who live in Battle Creek. And I think that's good, because a lot of times you'll grow up in a neighborhood and you won't actually put yourself out there, and you start getting in your head that nobody really cares. Nobody cares about you. But maybe you're not actually taking the chance to find out what's going on.
You ever have folks say, what should I do with that?
Often. Especially about kale. I get a lot of questions about kale.
I will fix that problem right now.
So what's your favorite way to eat kale?
I actually have a juicer, and I juice once or twice a day, and kale is probably the best part of that. So.
Okay. What about the? They're $2 for $1. Yeah, they've been making the fans so very strange. Hi, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Boy, look at the stuff you got.
Yeah, you like collards?
Oh.
You
Look
like
at
collards?
that.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
They're good for you.
My goodness. Look at that.
Yeah, $1. That's nice. Y'all sure have a nice garden over there. Real nice.
Well, you have to come by.
I do. I go there, pass by there every day. I said, oh, I should go up. If that fence went out there, go out there.
If you want something right now, just don't tell everybody. You can go in that fence and get whatever you like.
I said, did I give somebody to call the police on me?
No, just say Jeremy said so. We can't sell everything we grow, and we
Well,
can't.
this shows a beautiful garden.
Yeah, it is. It's.
Her passed down through there and out there another day. She said, who is it at? I said, let's go down. My eyes just I said, boy, there was some nice collard greens out there.
Oh,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Remember, it used to be a church out there.
Yep, right. It's called. We named it after the church.
Oh, did you?
So it was called Bright Star Faith
Yeah,
Temple.
right.
And we named it Bright Star Farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is Bright Star Farm. This is the site of what was once Bright Star Faith Temple. Then it was a church, local church in the area. We're in the Washington Heights neighborhood in the northwest side of Battle Creek. there was a church sitting right where this concrete circle is going to be a raised bed garden. Church sat here. It got demolished by our Calhoun County Land Bank, and then we leased this 2.14 acres from them for $1 a year, and have worked on making this building look nice and bright and fun, and building some farm, some small like half-acre plots. So we'll walk this way. I'll kind of show you a little bit. This pathway was put in this summer by volunteers and youth interns. This is we harvested this. We reclaimed this from a empty vacant lot that was being used as a illegal dump up the street. So there was an illegal dump happening. The city cleaned it out for us, and we are planting vegetables and flowers there next year. So we told them that we would take the concrete, which you see all of it down there, and we would use it and make stuff out of it here rather than them having to put it in the landfill. And that was our sort of trade for them to come clean it up, put some good soil in there, and now next year we're going to be able to plant flowers and vegetables. It's going to kind of just be a free-for-all garden. We're going to plant stuff and let people just take it, and do with what they will. And eventually we're hoping that we will transform that lot into a community garden right up in that neighborhood. So this is our farm. I'm going to take you down this path here. This is going to be a perennial herb garden with another circle in the center, a little bit higher. And we're going to this is going to be called like an herb fountain. This is really a central focus area in the farm. When volunteer groups come, we want them to know where to go to meet so we can talk about the space. And we wanted a really good way to use all of this concrete that we reclaimed. So we thought this was one good way. We'll fill this with perennial herbs and harvest and sell them, and dry them and repackage them starting probably in fall of 2015. We'll be repackaging herbs and creating a product that we'll sell at the market and hopefully to other stores. Let's go over to our hoop house. Here's our squash field. So we grew squash here last year. We have some pear and peach trees up there that are getting started growing, but they're not doing so hot. I think we have winter rye in that field that's just growing, popping up. An art project. So community Calhoun County Arts Council and a couple of local artists have been making recycled tire totems around town, and they asked if they could make one and place it here. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It has some people made of vegetables. It's wrapped in a canvas. It's all tarp underneath of there. They're all tires. And how many fruits and vegetables can you see? It's minorly educational, I suppose. We haven't made much intentional use of it yet, but we wanted to show like the sort of musical, the roots of people in the neighborhood here, and like upside down pots as drums, and people made of vegetables, and I don't know. And then they made it happen. And it looks like it's got a little bit of a three-wheel lean to it, but that's how we are in the neighborhood. This is our Compost Happens operation. Here's our hoop house. And this was just finished in late October. If you come in, you can notice the temperature change. It's at least 20 degrees warmer in here, I think. Oh, here's some spinach. Some baby spinach. We'll be lucky if this actually turns in anything of value this year, because we planted it a little bit late. But we're keeping the doors shut and letting it grow, and whatever we get out of it, we will. And early in the year, this will be our seed house. So maybe half of it will be filled with tables, and we'll do some seedlings. And the other half will be planted with collard greens, kale, chard, lettuces, spinach, carrots early on, like in February. We'll till all this up and get that started. We work with a local farmer, Clay Smith, at Earth Smith Farms, Earth Smith Farm and Forest Products. He helped us build this, so he's built a few of them, and he comes out and donates his time, and we buy produce from him, and it's a nice partnership. We have an end of the year, but So, some mini cabbage. I think that's certainly still sellable. Actually, I'm going to take that home tonight. We had a little bit of cabbage worm problems, and being that it's at the end of the year, we just let it go because there's not much left here. But cabbage worms will eat little holes and make things not look delicious, but they don't, they don't poop on the plant. They don't. Yeah, that's really good. They just cut holes in it. Here we have the leftovers, the last of our curly kale. And it's sweet, just like they say it's supposed to be. So let's see about our red cabbage. We had a frost here, and it's not very dense. If anything, we can come and harvest it this Saturday. We'll harvest it and donate it. So,
Where do you donate?
we donate to the Haven of Rest, which is a place where people without homes stay at night. They have all kinds of different programs they feed. We donate a lot of collard greens to them. We donate a lot of extras, and then we cull, when we have things that are going bad, or not going bad, but maybe they don't look appetizing to some people, knowing that you can cut up collard greens that have holes in them and it's delicious. It just doesn't sell to the average consumer. These little cabbage, probably not worth it for a regular consumer to buy, but if we're giving it to the Haven of Rest or God's Kitchen, they can just chop it up and add it into a stew, something like that. This here is called Agribon, and that allows you to, in a small, simple way, extend your growing season outdoors. It keeps the heat from the soil in, and allows water to penetrate and water it from outside. We do outside T-taping though, which is our irrigation system, is that black T-tape. So we have over the row, like you saw in the hoop house, T-taping. Oh, the AT&T guys here. This is pretty good. I haven't had any of our cabbage yet. Now, this is John Crockett. He's a garden partner at Urbandale Community Vegetable Garden, and also an employee here.
Yes,
at
part of 365.
Lila Arboretum 365. So this is shared partnered space. They're doing much better at growing things currently than we are.
Some of ours are a lot older too.
Yeah,
we were looking at that today. These tomatoes here on the end.
I've been there for since April.
February.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know that front end has not changed.
Yeah, and some of our eggplants have been in the ground since last January.
Yeah.
So, we've got some old crops going in here.
We've had a couple of seasons in here, and anyway, we do a little bit of partnering. And how did you get involved in community gardening, John?
Mainly because at my house I tried gardening, and then I found out that walnut trees poison my soil, and I have a lot of walnut trees. So it wasn't really practical for me to grow a garden at home. That's how I got involved in community garden.
Okay. And we met John. I think I met his partner first, Carla, and she was on our board for a little while when we first started. I don't think she could probably. She left either because she was too busy or she couldn't handle my chaotic, weird nature. One of the two,
or a bit of both.
One of the two things. I don't try to figure those things out. I just keep rolling along. John's son worked for us. He was the very first Green Fist intern at Bright Star Farm, Jeremy, and now he's in college, but still a friend. And then this past year, John did something really cool for our farm and built and donated a beehive. He could probably talk a little bit more about that. I don't know much about beehiving or apiary sciences.
Neither do I, apparently, since our bees all left. But yeah, I went to bee school at Albion College for a weekend and wanted to do it not so much for the honey as for the propagation of plants and for the propagation of honeybees, because with colony collapse disorder and all the nasty things they're putting into fields nowadays and killing the bees off. Without bees, we don't eat, considering they're responsible for what, 75 or 80% of all pollination of everything we eat. So I'm trying to, get the bees growing well in the area.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
John is the farmer with the best mustache in town. This is Devin Gibson, Sprout Urban Farms Operation Manager. I just want to talk to him a little bit about his introduction to Sprout, what got him involved, what he likes about this place, and see where it goes.
Okay, yeah, so I started off back in 2010. There was heard an altercation outside my house, and I looked out and saw there was a couple guys getting into a little fight, and one of the guys ended up dying from his injuries. So I had to go downtown and speak with detectives, the whole 9 yards, and I came home that night, and I remember laying on my bed, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning by the time I got home, and I was just like, I gotta make it so things like this don't happen anymore. So I didn't know what I was gonna do, had no idea. I was just like, something will come up eventually. So 3 months later, a friend of mine invited me to a neighborhood meeting of this group called Creating Change. It's where Jeremy had worked at one point, and through a couple people there, I got introduced to Jeremy. He handed me a flyer for a thing they called Sprout Jam, where people were gonna get together and talk about community gardening, and I remember thinking like, oh, this is stupid, I'm never gonna go to that thing, and here we are 3 years later.
So I forgot about all that. What made you go to the Sprout Jam? Sprout Jam stood for January annual meeting, but it sounded more foodie if we had the word jam in there. It was really a community forum, finding out what people wanted around healthy food. That's literally the beginning of our grassroots organization. We asked people, we reached out to people that wanted to do good food work, and built this organization from their ideas. A lot of organizations do the opposite and then go back and ask, how do we get people involved? We got people involved from the beginning, and that's our roots. So what was it that got you interested at first?
Just started doing it. I remember one day I had been volunteering with you, and we went to one of the gardens, and the Wabash Garden, and just started. I think we were moving soil that day, and it's kind of nice to be outside, and you feel like you're part of something bigger when you're outside and in nature, and you've got the sun beating down on you and the wind and everything, and it's just kind of like one guy that worked for us said it's relaxing and like therapeutic at times.
Absolutely. What is it that you do now? What do you like about it, and what do you see for the possibilities of that in the future?
Well, I always say I'm a big fan of history, and the original political debate in the United States was, how should our economy be based? Should it be agriculture or should it be finance? That was the first political problem that came up, and we went the way of finance, but the thought back then was, as if we have a nation of people that are growing their own food, nobody can touch them. They all can take care of themselves because they've got enough to eat. And if they need clothing, they can trade it or make it themselves. So I look at this as kind of like the nation. It's real big right now that people are going back to this, growing their own food and knowing what's in their food. So I think we're just going back to the basics, and I think we need to. And it's a good thing to do. So basically, what I do is, as the operations manager, is I make sure that things like this are seeded, that they're harvested and delivered to the restaurants they go to. Try to offer up a variety of different things to the clients that are buying them. And then I make sure that the people that are going to the markets have what they need when they go, and just try to offer as much help as I can to them to make sure that the things that they need, they're getting. In a nutshell.
So, if you could dream anything to happen here, if we could do anything at all to improve food access, things that we aren't doing, or things that we cannot currently afford, what would be your big dream, or even a medium-sized dream for this group, this organization, this stuff?
I would say, like, the thing we have now is especially when we first started, we got it a lot more. But we would go just when we're out at markets. You know, you would tell people, yeah, this thing of carrots is $2, and they'd say, oh, that seems kind of expensive. And once you sit and explain the economics behind it of why it's that price, you know, they're a lot more open to it, and then they come back every week because they feel like they know you. So I would think just doing that in a larger scale, getting people to understand those issues and why it's important to farmers and our economy and how it can make our economy better. I think that's the big thing for me.
Sprout Urban Farms in one word. Productive.
Tasty. Community.
Community activism.
Innovative.
Funky. Good.
That's my house, by the way. Yeah. That's why I always go this way. It's like...
Because you're territorial.
I'm very territorial.
Sprout man.
I just want to eat this like an apple. I don't know why, but